In August 2024, thousands of international students came out on the streets of Canada as they feared deportation from the country.
And more than 70,000 students, including several Indians, face deportation scare after Canada tightened the rules for extension of work and study permits.
We no longer need as many temporary foreign workers. We need Canadian businesses to invest in training and technology and not increasing their reliance on low-cost foreign labor.
We pay taxes! We go back!
ਅਸੀਂ ਜੀ ਉਦੋਂ ਫਰੰਟ ਲਾਈਨ ਵਰਕਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਸੀਪੀਪੀਆਂ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ
This was all because the Canadian government introduced a cap on foreign workers because of growing anti-immigrant sentiments. This dangerous wave is not limited to Canada. It has spread in the UK as well. On July 30th, 2024, the streets of the UK were rushed with riots and dozens of mobs chanting anti-immigrant slogans, leading to violent clashes with police.
We have seen at least 12 of our officers injured, with items such as brick fence posts, branches, and other missiles thrown at them.
The instability was spread to at least 25 provinces, with hotels housing migrants and mosques being targeted for destruction and firebombing attempts. These recent events are strong differences to the historical reputations of both nations. I remember growing up with the narrative of Canada as a multicultural haven, a place where diversity was celebrated and newcomers were welcomed. The UK, too, was often seen as a prime example of a multicultural society, with London as its vibrant, multicultural heart. But today, many find themselves questioning whether these ideals still hold. Recently, a significant shift was seen in public opinion and government policies regarding immigration in both countries. But how could such a major change come to entire nations? It did not happen overnight. Rather, it has been a gradual process influenced by various economic, social, and political factors. The once welcoming atmosphere has given way to growing skepticism, and in some cases, hatred toward immigrants. In Canada, a country built on immigration, we are witnessing a growing unease about the pace and scale of newcomer arrivals. According to the new poll, conducted by Leger for the Association of Canadian Studies, about 60% of Canadians now believe immigration levels are too high, a stark contrast to the nation's historically positive outlook. This shift is particularly noticeable in major cities like Toronto, where housing costs have skyrocketed and public services are under increasing strain. According to the Canadian Consumer Price Index, rents increased by 8.6% in 2024. The concerning thing is that the majority blame the immigrants for this situation. To combat this, in January 2024, Canada abruptly announced that it would slash approved international student visas by 35% compared to 2023, citing the worsening housing shortage and affordability in Canada. This has led some to question the wisdom of welcoming large numbers of newcomers when basic infrastructure seems unable to keep pace. Moreover, there's growing concern about wage stagnation and job security. The majority of Canadians worry that increased immigration might lead to more job competition, which raises negative sentiments. South Asian immigrants, who comprise 16% of Canada's total immigrant population, have become frequent scapegoats for Canada's unemployment rate, particularly among youth. The rush of international students, who often work in low-wage jobs to support themselves, has added another layer to this complex issue. While Canada struggles with these challenges, the United Kingdom has experienced an even more dramatic transformation in its relationship with immigration. Once seen as a multicultural success story, the country has been struggling with rising anti-immigrant sentiment for years. The Brexit vote of 2016 was a wake-up call, highlighting just how deeply immigration concerns had taken root in British society. However, the recent riots have truly brought this issue into the limelight for the country. As mentioned before, the riots in July 2024 were a result of a tragic incident in Southport, where 3 young girls were killed in a stabbing, which became the trigger point for widespread unrest. Even though the suspect was a British citizen, false rumors spread that he was an asylum seeker, igniting tensions. The resulting riots spread like wildfire across the UK, affecting cities from Manchester to Belfast. Shocking scenes of violence were seen in the area, attacks on mosques, assaults on hotels, housing asylum seekers, and the destruction of immigrant-owned businesses. These were not isolated incidents, but part of a coordinated wave of unrest that laid bare the depth of anti-immigrant sentiment in British society. The scale and intensity of these riots caught many by surprise. In cities like Birmingham, far-right groups clashed with Muslim communities, leading to scenes similar to the 2011 riots, but with a distinctly intolerant character. In the UK, the reasons behind the anti-immigrant sentiment are similarly complex, but with some unique factors. The country has experienced significant demographic changes over the past few decades, particularly in certain regions. This rapid change has led to cultural anxieties among some population segments. Economic factors play a vital role in the UK too. Years of unstable measures have stripped down public services, and in UK too, the blame is coming on immigrants for these shortcomings. The perception that newcomers are a drain on the welfare state, although often not supported by evidence, has gained attraction in certain circles. While economic and social factors play a significant role, misinformation is also a growing factor behind these disturbances. In today's era, the rise of social media has amplified these issues as the majority of wrong things spread from here. Some politicians and media outlets have exploited fears about immigration for political gain, often presenting a distorted picture of immigration's impact on society. This has made it difficult to have proper discussions about immigration policy. The Southport incident in the UK, for instance, shows how quickly false information can circulate and spark real-world consequences. In my view, the rise of anti-immigrant sentiment in both Canada and the UK is deeply concerning. While I understand the economic anxieties driving some of these attitudes, I believe we must not lose sight of the immense contributions immigrants have made to our societies. So how do we address these complex and sensitive issues? There's no simple solution, but several steps could help improve the situation. First and foremost, we need honest, fact-based conversations about immigration. This means acknowledging both the benefits and challenges of immigration and working to dispel myths and misinformation. Governments and media outlets have a responsibility to present accurate, balanced information to the public. This could involve more transparent reporting on immigration statistics, clearer explanations of immigration policies, and efforts to highlight the economic contributions of immigrants. In Canada, for instance, immigrants play a crucial role in addressing labor shortages in various sectors. Similarly, in the UK, immigrants make significant contributions to the National Health Service and other key industries. Secondly, addressing the underlying economic and social issues is crucial. In both Canada and the UK, tackling the housing crisis and improving public services would go a long way towards easing tensions. This might involve increased investment in affordable housing, healthcare, and education. In Canada, this could mean a national housing strategy that addresses the needs of both long-term residents and newcomers. For the UK, it might involve reinvesting in public services that have been strained by years of discipline, ensuring that all residents, regardless of their background, have access to quality healthcare, education, and social support. It's also important to recognize the positive contributions of immigrants to our societies. From economic growth to cultural enrichment, immigrants have played crucial roles in shaping both Canada and the UK. Highlighting these contributions can help counter negative narratives. On the other hand, education plays an important role in shaping attitudes towards immigration. Both countries should consider incorporating more comprehensive education about immigration history and its impacts into school curricula. This could help young people develop a more refined understanding of these issues and foster empathy towards immigrants. Policymakers in both countries need to take a long-term view when it comes to immigration. This means planning for the social and infrastructural requirements that come with population growth. It may involve reassessing immigration targets and ensuring they align with the country's capacity to integrate newcomers effectively. For the UK, in a post-Brexit world, this means developing a new immigration system that balances economic needs with public concerns. For Canada, it might involve a more regionalized approach to immigration, encouraging newcomers to settle in areas outside major urban centers to alleviate pressure on cities like Toronto and Montreal. Lastly, we need to approach this issue with empathy and nuance. It's easy to dismiss anti-immigrant sentiments as simple racism or intolerance, but the reality is often more complex. Many people expressing these views are handling with real economic anxieties or fears about cultural change. Addressing these concerns head-on rather than dismissing them is crucial for finding a way forward. In conclusion, the rise of anti-immigrant sentiment in Canada and the UK represents a significant challenge to these traditionally welcoming nations. It's a complex issue with multiple reasons. Addressing it will require a thorough approach, combining policy changes, public education, and open dialogue. As we navigate these choppy waters, it's crucial to remember the values that have long defined both Canada and the UK: openness, tolerance, and diversity. The path forward won't be easy, but it's a journey we must undertake together. After all, both Canada and the UK are nations of immigrants, and how we handle this issue will define us for generations to come. Let's approach it with wisdom, compassion, and a commitment to building societies that are both prosperous and inclusive. In the end, the goal should be to create a society where both long-term residents and newcomers feel valued, secure, and able to contribute to their fullest potential. This is not just a moral imperative, but an economic and social necessity for both Canada and the UK as they face the challenges of the 21st century.